All the signs are here. Pullback is incoming. Hey there, Tamir from פיבונאצ'י here. Daily market recap. Like, subscribe, and let's see the charts. A little bit red all across the board. SPY closed the day with 0.27 to the downside. On its way to the down, it made new all-time highs. 550.12 is the new all-time highs, but it took previous day, Tuesday's day, took this low. Now this area, the 543, 542 is the support. Below it, we are heading to close this gap, and I will not be surprised if this gap will get filled by the end of June. It's another less than 2% to the downside, 1.7% to the downside. Maybe next week. Be prepared. In my opinion, pullback is incoming. QQQ closed the day with 0.77 to the downside. We had this scenario, the 2-1-2 scenario, 2 to the upside, inside candle, 2 to the downside. Now holding this trend line. Look at this trend line. From support to resistance to support, breaking below, and we will see 477 and 470 to the downside with this gap at the 468. More than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled. I will not be surprised if this gap will get filled by the end of June. Less than 3% to the downside. Never say never. Dow Jones, on the other hand, showed relative strength with 0.75 to the upside. Finally broke above this blue trend line. Now, this is the resistance. The upper border of the yellow zone is the resistance. Let's see, can the Dow Jones hold and close the week above this area, above the 392. And then next week, we will see 394 to the upside. IWM 0.42 to the downside. Second day in a row with a doji. The 199.70 is holding support. Below it, 197. And as you can see, the lower border of the yellow zone is still a very tough resistance. It was a very important area of support. Look left, trade right. Support, support, broke to the downside. And now, in the past 2-3 days, it's a resistance. We are still inside a downtrend channel that started over 1 month ago. Bitcoin, from the time that I'm recording this video, 0.84% to the downside. 64,400 is the support, breaking down and under, and we are heading back to the 62 and 59. Overall, 3 out of 4 time frames on Bitcoin are below, under bearish sentiment. This double top scenario we have been talking about in the past few weeks is getting validated each and every day that goes by. We're getting further and further from the 67 area. Let's see where Bitcoin will end. Ethereum back below the yellow zone. Very tight price action with the 3,500 is the resistance. 3,460 is the support. Breaking below the 3,460, we will see 3,350, and then the same price action we saw over here to the upside. Below the 3,350, we will see the same price action, but to the downside, back to the 3,000. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Where Cryptoland is heading? For now, Cryptoland is under bearish sentiment. Magnificent 7, the MAGS ETF, holding above the 44.37 in the past 5 trading days. Not looking good. We have a 2 to the upside, inside candle doji, and today, in the past trading day, Thursday, we got ourselves an engulfing, what might be an engulfing bearish. It will validate as an engulfing bearish only once we get another daily close below the 44.37, and then this gap at the 43, 46, 48 will get filled. Overall, we're still in an uptrend. One candle does not change the overall sentiment. We need validation for this candle, breaking below, and we will see this gap getting filled. SOXX, same thing. We got ourselves 2 to the downside after a few days of dojis grinding up. Came Thursday, took 2 days of gains, back to the downside now. The 247.88 is the support. Below it, we're heading to close the gap at the 244 area. Look at the wider picture. Always zoom out. We are still inside an uptrend channel. Look at this channel. Very nice channel, right? We are still inside this channel. So no panic. If you get panic from one red candle, from one red day, you need to improve your risk management and you need to improve your mentality. Hit the like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. More videos coming up. You don't want to miss any video. You don't want to miss any lives. 2 videos every day, 2 lives every day, 4 videos each and every weekend. You don't want to miss them. XLE inside a downtrend channel since middle of April. 2 months of a downtrend channel. But look at this. If we take the Fibonacci in the last, from this low, January's lows, towards April's highs, where are we now? At the 50% retracement. We are now getting once again very close to the upper border of this downtrend channel, getting very close to the upper border of the yellow zone. Can we get a weekly close above the 91 area? And then XLE sector is going back to the upside towards 94.56. Now we can take Fibonacci once again back to this low. Next resistance, this area, the 91.45. Above it, 92.30, 93.45. If we zoom in and we check, interesting name in this sector, what do we see? We have HES, Hess Corporation, downtrend below the yellow zone, still under a bearish sentiment on the weekly, but weekly close above the 150, we can start taking long position on this name. Of course, everything that you see in here on my videos is for educational purposes only. Look at XOM and do your own due diligence. What do we see on XOM? We got ourselves the bounce of the 108 area. We are super close to the upper border of this downtrend channel. I want to see a weekly close above the 114, and then we can start taking long position on XOM. Look at OXY, Occident Petroleum. Bounce, double bottom, continuation above the 63, and we will see 64, 65, and back to all this future resistance by the FTI. FANG, also downtrend, still in a downtrend, but we are very close to the upper border of this downtrend channel. Let's see, break up above a weekly close above the 196.60 will give us the signal that we can start taking long position on FANG. Overall, XLE sector looking very, very good. So make sure you follow this sector. Now let's get back. Next we have Nvidia, 3.5% to the downside. Nvidia just took back 3 days of gains. We have an engulfing candle, but one candle does not change the overall sentiment. Look at the FTI, how it gives you support, the Fibonacci support, the 129 area, and the Fibonacci trend lines. Both give you support and resistance into the future. All this area, the 129 area, very, very important area of support. Breaking below it, we can take Fibonacci to the last 21 days. Breaking below this area, and we will see 122.50 to the downside. Some kind of a pullback, retracement. After this, look at this. Since April, from the low of April until yesterday's highs, It's my yesterday already. Thursday's highs, 85%. Ladies and gentlemen, some kind of a pullback is imminent. Nothing goes up forever. All we need to do is manage our risk, because this is the only thing we have full control of. Our risk management. How much money am I willing to lose from each and every trade? And if I'm already in gains and I have some nice profit, how much money am I willing to give back to the market? Risk management. This is all we need to be focused on, and this is the only thing we have full control. Microsoft with a doji holding above the 440 area, breaking below it, and we will meet this uptrend line. But for now, bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. Overall, Microsoft looking relative strength. Apple 2.15% to the downside, broke below this very important area of support. We talked about this support at the 213 in the past few days, and we said breaking down and under, and we are heading back to the 207, 203, and maybe even back below the 200 to the 194. The same price action we saw over here, we can probably see the same price action back to the downside to the 194. AMD 4.62 to the upside, but one candle, and it doesn't matter if it's a strong candle to the upside or strong candle to the downside, does not change the overall sentiment. Look at AMD, went all the way to this downtrend line, got rejected by the trend line and by the Fibonacci resistance, by the higher border from this yellow zone, the 166 area, the yellow zone, trend line. That's it. Fibonacci and trend lines, they are the true support and resistance for future price action. Price follows Fibonacci and trend lines. Don't take it as granted because I say so. Do your own due diligence. Do your research. I made my research. It took me 2 years until I came to the truth that it's all about trend lines and Fibonacci. Now, the 161 area is the support. Below it, back to the 157 and 153. I want to see a weekly close above the 166, and then we can start reassess going long on AMD. Netflix with almost 1% to the downside, but holding strong above the 676 area, above this uptrend line, breaking below it. Next support is the 666. SMCI. You know this channel, you know this red channel. We drew it a few days back, and look at this. Once again, another perfect example of why trend lines and Fibonacci are the true support resistance. SMCI went all the way, the high of the day. Fibonacci resistance, trend line, got rejected. Now the 955 area is the support. Below it, 909, and then back inside the yellow zone. Like, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification and check the links in the description below. Choose your path to financial freedom. If you choose the one-on-one mentorship program or the online expert program, I guarantee you lifetime access for support, guidance from me, all Discord channels, and the amazing tool, the FTI, will be yours. So join me today and let's get prepared. The second half of 2024 is just around the corner, and we are going to have an amazing second half. So join me and you will start seeing results pretty fast. Tesla still moving sideways, back inside the yellow zone. Nothing much on Tesla. As long as Tesla is consolidation, sideways move between the 173 and the 191, nothing much. Below the 173, we are heading back to close the gap at the 146. My long alert is only above the 191. Amazon 180 to the upside. Now we have this orange trend line that will act, all this area will act as a very tough resistance. Long on Amazon, in my opinion, only above the 188 with 182. Look left, very important area of support. Meta 0.44 to the upside, close the day with a doji, inside candle doji. 500 holding as support. Below it 490. Below the 490 we will break the uptrend channel and we will see this gap at the 478 getting filled. Google 0.7% to the downs, to the upside, but Google still moving sideways inside the yellow zone. Nothing much on Google in the past month or so. Let's see, can Google break up above and close the week above the 178 or breaking below the 173, and then we will see 171 and 169. We have a double top, multi-top scenario on Google below the 169. Embrace yourself. We are heading back to the 162 area. Shopify, another day, red day, 0.6% to the downside, but retesting the upper border of the yellow zone. The yellow zone was a very important area of resistance, support. Now, once again, acting as support with a doji. Will this doji represent the end of this pullback and then back up? Only above, in my opinion, back long on Shopify above the 65.70 to the upside. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the top 5 gainers in the past trading day. If you watch my last top stocks to watch that I publish each and every Sunday, you know this name, APLD. We've been waiting for a break above the 5 area. And since then, look at this, APLD from the breakout until the high of the day, 23% to the upside and still going. Long continuation above 620 and we are heading to close the gap at the 745. This is why I say hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos. Great setups. GILD, Gilead Science with 8.5% to the upside. Broke above the yellow zone, massive breakout. Now let's see continuation above yesterday's highs towards 71.70 and 74.50 to the upside. Also broke this downtrend with a massive breakout. Put GILD at the top of your watch list. BTDR, Bitdeer Technologies, 10 area. Very important area of resistance, very tough resistance, 8.6 to the upside. Now let's see continuation towards the 1133 and 1290 with 840 as support, bullish on all time frames on this name. EPAM Systems, 6.8% to the upside, but still we need to wait. We're still below downtrend line. Look at this downtrend line below the yellow zone. I want to see a weekly close above the 184 area, and then we can start taking long position on this very interesting name, ACN, with 7.3% to the upside, went all the way to the 317, very tough resistance. It was a gap up after earnings. Now the 303 area needs to hold the support. Below it, back retesting and closing the gap. Overall, 5 interesting setups. Put all these setups on your top of your watch list for the coming trading days. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like, subscribe. Don't forget to check the links in the description below. Choose your path to financial freedom. Until the next video, stay safe.